You don't have to work your ass off. Hey y'all, how you doing? My name is Connor. You are watching ThrivingMinimalist.com. Thanks so much for tuning in and checking out this video on how I went from working 60 to 80 hours a week running my own business as a home improvement contractor in the great state of Massachusetts to living pretty much entirely off-grid in this RV and not working. You know, how do I survive, and how did I make that transition? From what I have seen in the world and from talking to a lot of people, from making YouTube videos about this stuff for a while, it seems to me that there are a lot of folks who are working themselves into a stressful state and feeling really uncomfortable for most of their days. So like within the period of time that a day consists of 24 hours, many of us are working about a third of those hours, and then maybe not quite getting enough sleep and not getting enough time for ourselves. This was where I was at just a handful of years ago. I was working my butt off and I was making okay money, but it meant nothing because I was really unhappy. And in order to subsidize the time that I didn't have for myself, I was turning to things like drugs, alcohol, unhealthy foods, unhealthy relationships. And I was in these patterns of taking care of myself, of trying to take care of myself, trying to pamper and love myself within the confines of working 60 to 80 hours a week, doing something that I wasn't passionate about. And I think many of us have found that we are in that lifestyle. We're just stuck repeating these patterns of going to work for a really long time and exhausting all of our energy, exhausting all of our reserves, that we would really do better off turning towards ourselves, even if it meant that we would be making less money, or maybe we had to downgrade our lifestyle in terms of house size or type of car or the things that we're consuming on a day-to-day basis, that we would be better off turning that energy that we are giving off into the work week onto ourselves and giving ourselves some love, some relaxation, checking in with ourselves and seeing what we really need to be happy. What I was doing when I was working so many hours was drinking a lot of alcohol and drinking a lot of caffeine, and those things really took care of me in a sense. It was parts of me trying to love myself, and that was the best way I knew how to do it. So how did I change from working 60 to 80 hours a week and making $120,000 a year and having a house and vehicles and a lot of tools and a lot of investment into this 19-foot Winnebago, you know, where I travel around the country and just do acrobatics? I mean, it took a little bit of time, you know, to have this transition. And I have to say, I was really lost for a while, or at least I felt like I was really lost. I had no idea what I wanted. All I knew was what I didn't want. That was basically it. I knew that I was working too much. I knew that the job that I was doing was not serving me. In other words, it wasn't like life-giving. It was just taking. It was this like vampiric leech just sucking years out of my life. So I knew that I didn't want to be doing it anymore. I also knew that the lifestyle that I felt like I couldn't get away from because I was so locked into this work wasn't serving me. So like the drinking, the doing drugs, smoking cigarettes, drinking a lot of caffeine, not sleeping enough, not getting movement, those things weren't serving me. And so I knew that. And so I just kind of focused on like, all right, how can I eliminate the things that really aren't serving me in my life? I knew nothing about minimalism, but what's cool is that you do. And that is a tool that you can use, just like I used without kind of knowing that it was a tool, I think it's helpful to know that it's a tool, to know that there is this amazing tool that we can use to say, okay, what is serving me and what is not? How can I downsize the stuff that is not serving me and hold on to and put more energy into the stuff that is? For me, without really knowing it, I was using this tool of minimalism to start to change my lifestyle, to get rid of the things that weren't serving me. And that meant quitting my job. I just quit. I just changed my job. And first I transitioned from having my own business to working for someone else for a few months. And I went from working 60 to 80 hours a week for myself to working for someone else for about 40 hours a week. And at the time, that was a huge change. I did that for about 2 to 3 months before transitioning away from that and pretty much giving up working altogether. I'll get into that a little bit more later on. But it's important to know that this first step was really essential, and it was kind of a baby step. And this first step for you might mean something completely different. It might mean that you're working for someone else and you want to transition into working for yourself. It might mean just taking a long vacation and assessing where you're at. It might mean cutting down your current hours. It might have nothing to do with your job. Maybe it's some other area of your life that you want to focus on. But know that you can change it right now, and it can look like a lot of different things. And for me, initially, it meant transitioning from working for myself for a lot of hours and making a lot of money to working for someone else for less money, but having a lot less hours so I could kind of reassess and get in touch with what I really wanted. The other huge thing that I did was look at what I was putting into my body and change it, because it wasn't working. I was 28 years old and I was at this point where I just knew, man, if I keep doing what I'm doing, it's not going to be pretty. And I have this choice, like right now, I can either change it or I can just keep going with it and say, screw it. And for me at the time, that meant switching into a healthier diet. And so I started eating plant foods and I started eating primarily raw foods. I let go of alcohol, drugs, caffeine. And throughout the last 4 years, I'm 32 now, I've had pretty much all of those things. I mean, I've stuck to a plant food diet, but I've had alcohol, I've had caffeine, I've had some cigarettes even in the last 4 years. But the change was dramatic. And for the most part, I really stay away from all of those things at this point because it just feels easy. Now that I've freed up the space and time in my life to be refocused on me, I don't need these other things that really felt like necessities to take care of myself. I've been able to kind of step back and let those things go because I have other tools to take care of myself. These two things were the kind of first steps to changing my life. It was letting go of my current job that I was working way too much at, and it was changing what I was putting into my body. The rest started to follow on its own. I started sleeping more, I started moving more. So initially that meant like running, doing push-ups, going to the gym, and now I have a full-blown acrobatic obsession that I absolutely love. After having cleared up, freed up some time, refocusing on the things that were serving me and letting go of some things that were not, I started building momentum. I started building positive momentum that connected me with myself. And I started discovering or rediscovering my passions. And what I found is that I have a passion for connecting with people. I have a passion for healing, the power to heal ourselves, to grow, to connect with trauma that we may have endured in childhood or as adults, and to heal it. And what I found is that I really love connecting with other people. And so I started steering myself in that direction. I had no idea if I could make money on it. I didn't care. That wasn't my focus. But here I am, 4 years later. I have a very successful YouTube channel. I have a very successful therapy business. I have very successful relationships with other human beings. I have what I consider to be a very successful life because I'm happy and I feel like I'm contributing to the world. I know that I'm contributing to the world. And I say that humbly, but I also say that with pride because it has taken me time and I have put in work to get to where I am now. And now it is my turn to make this video so that you can watch it and you can take that first step. And I recommend that you use the tool that is minimalism. Minimalism doesn't have to be your lifestyle, but it is a helpful tool to assess what you really want in this life. And if it means just taking one thing that you know that you don't really want and that is not serving you and letting that go, that's awesome. That is the first step that will build the momentum that you really want to propel you into the life that you deserve. A life that is stress-free, a life that you have the ability to bring happiness and connection and love into without these other things that we're just kind of using to take care of the immediate pain and stress that we're feeling, like drugs and alcohol and a lack of sleep, pushing ourselves to the brink of sanity. Truly. You don't have to work your ass off. You don't have to do it like the rest of our culture, like our dominant culture says that you do. There are alternatives. I'm so proud of the skills that I developed as an entrepreneur and as a craftsman during my 10 years as a building contractor. It was awesome, and I have some really good stuff that I can take away from it. But ultimately, I'm so thrilled with having time in my day. I love connecting with people as a therapist and as a lifestyle coach. I love helping people learn how to heal themselves because we have the power to do this. We have the power to create an incredible life. And I think the power starts in this moment, in the moment that you feel that motivation and inspiration and you seize it. And you say, now is my time to take that little teeny step. This moment can be that first step in the momentum that will propel you into the life you want to be living. And I'm here to encourage you to take it. Much love to you. Take care of yourself. Good luck on your journey. If I can help you in any way, reach out to me. Much love. Bye. Hey guys, just wanted to check in with you real quick at the end of this video and remind you about my 30 days program. Monkey recently did it and he is full of self-love. This is a great program. It's a 30-day program full of emails, meditations, exercises, videos. Check it out, thrivingminimalist.com. If you have any questions, you can contact me at any time regarding the program or setting up a therapy or coaching session with me. Thanks for the support. Much love. Bye-bye.